Okay, so I found like a little way to break down kind of like what I do for a living, or in a way that I would want to discuss it. Sometimes it's burdensome on my mind. Like even if I get off the clock, it's still on my mind. But anyway, I'm looking over here because everyone else knows it's kind of like a game of whack a mole. Okay, so say with whack a mole, you got the six holes. Okay, and me and my partner, we gotta whack these six holes. Now I say to my partner, like, listen, you do three and I'll do three. And that's okay for a time, but like we both, get fast, for example. Usually I've been fast, but like my partner, catches up to speed because it's a new partner or whatever. So in any case, I say, okay, you're fast now, and doing three doesn't like satisfy you, like you get bored or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, you do six and I'll do six, and that's okay for a time. But then inevitably, it's like they lose their patience and they'll do their six. And then maybe they'll do four of my six, leaving me only two. So now, it's like, okay, in my head, I picked up on the pattern. You're leaving two, I'll whack the last two. Once I, in my opinion, get too good at that, or maybe it's just that they're getting too good at what they're doing, but then they start leaving one. Then eventually they start leaving none, like, they're whacking all the moles. And, let's just say, they pack up, pop up. I already said about the sixes or whatever, but like, after you hit the six, the next six pop up. But now you've gotten so good, you just keep going for like 5 minutes straight. Well, of course, now I'm just standing there and it's starting to feel like, call waiting, when you're on the other side. And with 30 seconds feels like 2 days almost. It's like, or 2 hours. It's like, come on now, when is this person coming back? Well, it starts feeling like that. But something I noticed, or they might leave one sporadically, kind of like maybe they couldn't do the six. And then if I don't grab the one with urgency, they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm thinking to myself, like, are you not aware that you're not being patient or cooperative? You know? And like, I've stayed over here, quietly and patiently and watched you not be patient but more greedy. But now you're asking me what's wrong with me, So, I'm slow to answer or what have you. I'm like, well, I thought we agreed on either three and three or six and six, but neither one of those are happening. And so then they'll, oh, sorry. And then maybe do the six and six. Then eventually go back up to the 10 and two, whacking, the moles, which then ends up being none for me, their partner. Not all the partners do this, but, the not so good ones. So, my whole plight, though, is okay if you can whack all the moles without me, constantly for 8 hours, for example, by all means go ahead, but I'm going to start talking to my neighbor now, because I've been watching you for about 5 minutes straight. And, apparently, you don't need me. You're moving so fast. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could also move fast and try to cut across and all that. But I guess I feel like, this is not what the job is about. They have two of us here so one person doesn't have to, sprint a marathon, so that we could, share the load. But, anyway, the whole point is, how come the whole time I'm standing there quietly, patiently watching, they can do it all? But if I turn and talk to a neighbor, if I turn and daydream, then they start messing up. They start leaving two and three when they were getting 12. They start dropping things. They start just fumbling. It's almost as if, like, if you're not going to watch, why am I doing this? I don't know if they lose sight of the goal. Like, you're not trying to impress me, at least not the whole time. I really don't know. I really don't know. But I just know once I stop paying them attention, they fumble. And then, Perhaps it might come off as cocky, but that's when I'll say, like, the difference between me and you. So I want to be great no matter who's looking. You only want to be great if someone's looking. Learn how to want to be great. Don't worry if I'm looking or not. I was like, if you help me or not, I'm going to be consistent and do this job. But it's not only about speed, it's about cooperation. It's about inspection. It's about helping. It's a whole lot of criteria that people, don't readily see at first. And a lot of people who end up being crazy about me, especially after they work with me for a time, they're like, okay, you're kind of like that strict teacher. But by the time we finish, like, it's so efficient, like you're not hurting. It's fun almost by the time they finish. Okay, anyway.